Hey everyone, welcome back. So let's understand the core components of good prompting techniques. Previously, we have briefly touched based on the importance of prompting, why it is important, and it doesn't matter which field you are working. AI is everywhere and generative AI is mostly in every department of the IT industry at the moment, and not only IT, it's across different domains wherever you have the computer related work. So AI is being introduced everywhere. Now, what are the core components of a good prompt? I'll cover the example from the software testing point of view, but this is similar. If you want to replicate it in some different field, the concepts are similar. So if we talk about the core concepts or core components, there are 6 core components that you need to be aware of in order to write the good prompt. First thing is role. When we talk about role, whenever you are asking question or instructing the generative AI or large language model, mentioning what persona or role adds a lot of value, and the AI model will provide results as per that particular role. Say for example, I am into software testing. I'll provide the role as a software tester, or if I'm into development, I'll provide role as a developer. That helps the AI to formulate answers from that persona. If you are working in a healthcare, if you are working in finance, if you ask similar question from that persona, it will formulate the question and answer accordingly to match your requirements as per your role and persona, and you will get more refined answer which is more relevant for you. And that's where role becomes very important thing when you are asking question in generative AI. The second thing is instruction or the task. So what exactly you are trying to achieve, what tasks you want to perform or you want AI to perform for you. So for example, in this case, the first is role. And don't worry, I'm going to explain this on ChatGPT with this whole example. So these are the core components, the 6 core components, and I'll go and formulate this whole prompt and show you the difference as well. So instruction, task, suggest top 5 topics. So I'm clearly mentioning that as a role, so I'm a software tester with 1 year experience. That's the role. That's the role information, clear information that I have provided, rather than providing in the prompt explain software testing. Second thing is I'm providing instruction or task, suggest top 5 topics. So the next important component is the context. For example, in the task I have asked suggest top 5 topics. The context will be to explain software testing to freshers. In the context of freshers, I'm not looking for answers for experienced people, for experienced testers, for experienced candidates. It's for freshers. The tone should be encouraging and professional. Because they are fresher, I want the tone to be encouraging and professional. That's what the context should be. The fourth core component is the format. How you want your answer to be, whether you want it in the bullet format, bullet list, or you want it in the paragraphs. So that format, if you specify, you will get better answers from the generative AI tools. Then the fifth core component is the constraints. Are there any constraints that you want to specify? The content should not contain any advanced software testing topics, right? So when you explain the context, you also put the constraint that it shouldn't go to the advanced topics and make the freshers confused. So answer should be articulated in a way that they are relevant only for the freshers and don't contain any of the advanced software testing topics that might confuse freshers. Now the last core component of good prompt is the examples. So as with the format, in the format we specify what sort of format we are looking for, whether it's paragraph or it's bullet point. In the example, you can specify the core format, how exactly you are looking for. The generative AI will learn from that format and will provide you answers in the similar format. So if you include examples, you will even get better formatted output from LLM. So now let's go next and see how the good prompt will look. So here we have understood about the role, instruction, context, format, constraints. So now if I go ahead and read all of this together, read this prompt together. So I'm a software tester with 1 year experience. Suggest top 5 topics to explain software testing to freshers. The tone should be encouraging and professional. Create a bullet list for each topic suitable for presentation. The content should not contain any advanced software testing topics, and here is the example. So if you go back next, this is how the prompt will look like. So if I go ahead and copy and paste this in the ChatGPT, I'll get better answer as compared to asking generic question. Okay, so I have copied this prompt and let me go to ChatGPT now and post this. So here, if I go ahead and say, for example, I ask the ChatGPT, explain software testing to freshers. Let's see what it will answer. Explain software testing to freshers. So no role, nothing. I mean, in terms of the context, I have given a little bit, which is the freshers, but let's see what answer it will provide. And then we'll provide the good prompt and see how the answer will be. So here you will see the response is very generic. So goals and types and levels, it has explained all of those details. It has remembered some of the history of the past searches as well, and that's why you'll see a little better response. But if it is completely new chat and it doesn't have the history, let me open the new chat and I'll say explain software testing to freshers. So this is how it has answered. Okay, now there is no, it is very generic and very general sort of answer. Overall, because it understood software testing and to be explained for the fresher, it's still not bad. But when you go into the very specific details and follow the proper prompting techniques, then the answer that you will get will be more reliable, more appropriate for your particular role and in your context. Okay, so now let me go ahead and say I'll type in the prompt that I have written, which is a good prompt. So I'm a software tester with 1 year experience. Suggest top 5 topics to explain software testing to freshers. The tone should be encouraging and professional. Now here, if you'll see, the tone is pretty flat. It's not something which is encouraging and professional. This is very general tone. So create a bullet list with 5 list items of each topic suitable for presentation. The content should not contain any advanced software testing topics. And then I have provided the example there that this is how I want the answer. So for example, what is software testing? So here in the example, I'll say this is the core heading and then these are the points, right? So A, and then I'll update this. These are the 5 points that I'm looking for. So in the example, I'm providing them clearly as well. Okay. So now if I go ahead and send this response or send this prompt, so you'll see perfect. Since you are already have 1 year of real experience, you can inspire freshers by breaking software testing into 5 beginner friendly topics. Below is the ready to present outline which is encouraging and professional tone. Keeping it simple, no advanced stuff, because I have specifically mentioned or incorporated the 5 core components that should go into the, or 6 core components that should go into the prompt, right? So if we talk about, these are the core components that are there in this prompt, including the example. So all of that is there, and now you will see the difference in the answer. So the first, what is software testing? And it has explained me that. Then why is software testing important with the 5 bullet points. Then basic types of testing, all the basic stuff and no advanced stuff. Then key terms every fresher should know, relevant to fresher, right? And the role of a tester in a team. So you will see the answer is exactly as per what I asked. I didn't wanted too much information from ChatGPT. Now, if you ask the generic question, you will get generic answer, and you might be utilizing a lot of tokens from the AI point of view, and you will be unnecessarily getting a lot of text answer from the ChatGPT or from any large language model, which will consume your tokens. And when we say consuming the token, it's basically the expenditure on the large language model for the enterprise level. Now here you will have the limitation. We'll understand about the tokens as well, how the tokens are calculated and things. We'll understand that briefly as well. So you understand why writing the good prompt and getting the answer specifically what you really want becomes important, because you will be saving a lot of money from the enterprise point of view, from the paid generative AI point of view, when you provide better prompt and you get better answers as per your need. Okay, so this is briefly about the core components of a good prompt Make sure you understand these and then use the example that I have created here to formulate any of the prompt when you are using it in your testing project or any other. If you're from other fields as well, you can use similar concept and example to formulate your prompts as well. Okay, so that's all for this video. In the next video, we'll cover more topics around the prompting techniques. Thank you. See you in the next one.